and let us all do we can to build a better future.
All right. I have to say, I love it when these politicians are called out and questioned. Now, because of guidelines, I have to be somewhat tiptoeing around this because a certain person's name is going to be mentioned. So I'm just going to first build up the story. So an individual named, I want to get his name correct. An individual who goes by the name Alex Rosen, who had the courage to do something that a lot of us are surprised to see happen, and that is call out Hillary Clinton. So some time ago, a man, as this article from the New York Post writes out, a man who was hauled out of a campaign event in Houston after he bombarded Hillary questions about her husband, Bill Clinton's trip to a guy first name Jeffrey, last name E, private island. Now, I think we all know that Jeffrey, good old Jeffy boy, Jeffrey E, was friends with a lot of high-profile politicians, businessmen, tycoons, actors, people in positions of power. Now, Jeffrey E, somehow, in a secure prison setting, with cameras and 2 security guards, self-deleted himself, which is very suspicious, extremely suspicious. And, the guards were asleep, the power went out, and oh my goodness, he passed away. Okay. So the ruckus went down Friday while Clinton was in Texas campaigning on behalf of Democratic mayoral candidate, Representative Sheila Jackson Lee. Hey, Hillary, why did your husband visit E Island 26 times, said the man, later identified as Alex Rosen. So his questions were promptly drowned out by a choir of boos and chanting from a crowd. Rosen, 23, was later surrounded by security and physically dragged from the venue. And he says, is this really necessary, officer? You guys are dragging a grown man. Is this necessary? Come on. So it was a rather interesting event. Now, I've actually showed this man before, as he did call out people such as Dr. Fauci and a few other high-profile individuals who were talking about the vaccine and so much more. So I want to pull up how local news covered it, and then we'll be playing his interaction with Hillary Clinton and the supporters for the Democratic candidate who was running for mayor in Houston. So let's play this first video right here.
Let's shift our focus to U.S. politics now. A man has been thrown out of Hillary Clinton's rally. Former United States Secretary of State Hillary Clinton was speaking at a Houston mayoral candidates event when one Alex Rosen was dragged out for questioning Bill Clinton's trip to Jeffrey Epstein's island.
Why'd your husband visit Epstein Island 26 times?
Now, of course, that's what happened here, but let's play the full video in its entirety where it happened.
Then you want somebody who's going to get up every day.
Hey, Hillary, why'd your husband visit Epstein Island 26 times?
Is this really necessary? Is this really necessary, guys? Is this really necessary? Is this really necessary?
Hold on, we're going to rewind that, though, real quick, because we get a thumbs up from the guy.
Is this really necessary?
Hey, look, HS to interrupt Hillary Clinton. I'm going to approve of it, okay? But it takes a lot of courage to put yourself out there. We've interviewed 2 other activists that called out Hillary Clinton and confronted her, questioned her, called her out on her hypocrisy, as well as the issues that she has ran on in the past. And let's face it, a lot of these politicians are always given a pass by corporate media. They're always in controlled environments. And we are witnessing now I think, a beginning of the facade, the idea of, oh, these politicians are on such a beautiful high platform. We can never ever call them out, even though they're implementing policies that are making our lives a living hell. But I bet you that was one lively Houston mayoral event.
Necessary? Is this really necessary, sir? Hey, is this necessary, officer? You guys are dragging a grown man. Is this necessary? Seriously, come on. Hey, is this necessary, guys? Don't hit me, man. You guys are dragging somebody out in public.
You're not welcome. Private event.
You decide
Why do you guys support like just endless government spending? I mean, she's giving more money to white people in Ukraine than you freaking idiots in Houston keep voting for her. Watch out. Endless money to Ukraine, endless money for Israel. She's not anti-establishment. You guys vote for the same shit over and over again. Same crime. It's gonna be like just like Chicago. You guys love this shit.
All right, you have a blessed day, sir.
A blessed day. There was an aftermath, though. There was an aftermath where apparently Secret Service. Hillary Clinton has that Secret Service. It's a shame RFK Jr. doesn't have that same opportunity as well, or and these other presidential candidates, because let's face it, it's just. But Hillary Clinton has it. So, anyways, let's push forward.
Have a nice day.
So here's the follow-up right here.
How's it going?
So that gentleman right there, Secret Service right there.
I get it. No, I'm good, man.
But they do owe him a new shirt.
Oh, that's great. I mean, I'm gonna leave now.
You gonna leave?
Yeah.
Hey, can I get some information from you?
Absolutely not.
All right, man.
I'm not suicidal, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not suicidal either.
Totally love life,
So that's the reason why I'm showing this story and even talking about it is because, number one, the outrageous backlash that a lot of people get towards defending their politician. All right. You see people in that audience, you see people who are systematically hypnotized by politicians or former politicians because somehow we think that they have their finger on the pulse. We got to remember, a lot of these politicians are careerists. And for a long time, for most of the time, especially since many of us were growing up, the media portrayed them as individuals who collectively maybe knew better than the rest of us. But as time progressed forward, as all of us soon became part of the working force, and many of us going to college, trying to start a small business or a family, we're realizing that the economic environment that was created by these politicians, not just only the Clintons, but everyone part of the Democratic and Republican establishment, created an environment where there's a lack of economic opportunities, our infrastructure is falling apart, but yet we have money to bail out banks and have money for endless war. And people now have to wonder, well, who's to blame? Because the average person going to work, no matter how they do it, be it by walking, taking a car, train, etc., whatever, we are powerless in this situation. The politicians are the ones that made this so. And so we see this game being played over and over again where you see the Democrats and Republicans running for office. And yes, very soon we'll be entering into 2024. And that's when the presidential election cycle will intensify. And we're seeing all the old guard come out, be it the Clintons, Obama, or anyone else that's part of the DNC or RNC, as they try and boost up the imagery of their own party or politicians that are trying to run for various offices, be it the local, state level, federal level. And they use their names to uplift these other politicians up. But we have to remember that there's always a price. And so anyone that always aligns with anyone who's part of the dynastic families of the Republican or Democratic establishment, the goal is to keep the system as is, the same. And a lot of these politicians are flawed. A lot of these politicians have committed crimes. A lot of these politicians have not only committed crimes, but they're not serving time behind bars. It's more than just insider trading. It's a lot of scumbag activity that these politicians have done. And no one is really holding their feet to the fire, not corporate media, not their own parties. And occasionally you might see a rare video segment or story done by corporate media, or either that you might see a politician here and there say something about how corrupt the system is or how horrible some of these individuals are who are in Washington, D.C., but nothing is done. And so this is where civil disobedience, or either that, using our First Amendment right to call out and criticize these politicians, especially for their past behaviors, because there's no denying that old Jeffrey E. was friends with a lot of people. I know Team Democrat and Team Republican like to say, oh, well, Jeffrey E. knew them more. Yes, no, he knew them both. He knew everyone. He knew everyone in the establishment. He knew everyone in Hollywood. He knew everyone in Wall Street. Everybody knew who he was. Just like how everyone in Hollywood knew how scummy Harvey Weinstein was. Guess what? Harvey Weinstein, Hillary Clinton supports. This might trigger you, but you know he gave money to her campaign, right? Oh, yeah, that's the thing that happened. I know some liberal will say, well, Trump knew this. Yeah, they're all sick individuals. It's one big club, and you ain't in it, and thank God you're not in it. Call out these politicians for the scumbag individuals that they are, and we cannot be afraid anymore.